Do you feel like you're stuck in a rut? You're just bored, maybe disappointed, maybe disillusioned, maybe just feeling like your life's not going anywhere. You're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're, just not in a good place. Then this video's for you. Hi, today I'm going to be talking about how to raise your vibration. 3 tools that will help you raise your consciousness, raise your vibration, so that you can begin to magnetically attract what you really, really desire, what your soul desires, effectively, naturally. I'm Sarika Jain, author of the 90-Day Soulmate Plan and love coach for women seeking soulmate love. So, what are the reasons why we get stuck in these cycles of sadness, grief, shame, despair? There's a couple of factors, and some of them are that we tend to overcommit to other people. We tend to not take care of ourselves, and we have unresolved issues with other people, and that drains us of our energy. Okay, so when we're not focused on growing through our own self-love, self-awareness, and kind of staying in our own lane, offering our gifts, offering our radiance to the world, and instead we're stuck in toxic patterns of, serving other people, caretaking, overcommitting to work requirements, or stuck in addiction patterns, or in unhealthy relationships, then we begin to feel like our life is just taxing, right? When we're not focusing on the goals that we really want to achieve, then we are just almost like abandoning ourselves, and there's a grief in that. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about 3 tools that I've used recently, actually, to raise myself out of my cycle. I found myself in a cycle, in a trauma pattern where I was just uninspired, irritated, resentful, and almost in victim mode. And I've got to say, it was a very comfortable space to be, because then I could complain and bitch to my friends. I could create like a little pity party around myself, and there's something satisfying about that, right? About just, misery loves company, and I realized that I needed more. Like, I'm done with this. Like, there's a part of me that was like disgusted with my current situation, and could see, and I could try to pull myself up 40,000 feet to look down and just see that I was stuck in an old pattern. Okay, so the first tool is really important. It's boundary setting. Okay, so I realize that I'm an empath, and that I'm naturally absorb people's energies and emotions, and I have this tendency of caretaking and being overly responsible for other people. And I've attracted narcissists in the past, and that's what empathic people do. A lot of women, especially sensitive women, growth-oriented women, are actually empaths. Okay, they feel other people's emotions. They are sensitive in nature, but might look smart and successful and hard and resilient on the outside. So, just notice for yourself where you're overdoing it, like working more than the required 40 to 50 hours a week, where you're caretaking for a parent, or a sibling, or or a friend, that's sucking your life force, or a partner, a narcissistic partner, or just a partner who's, got his own stuff going on, and you're kind of the emotional punching bag for it, or his backstop, his shoulder to lean on. And so you need to start setting healthy boundaries around yourself. Okay. Cut down on those work hours. I know it's hard because we want to be successful, but there's a statistic that shows that 90% of our energy goes towards toxic relationships. So if you have a toxic relationship with work, with friends, with parents, family members, partners, then you need to start being assertive and putting boundaries around yourself so that you can come back to you, okay? Nurture you, okay? So if you're going to do that, it's going to cause, it's going to cause some ruckus, of course, and it takes a lot of courage to set boundaries. So I would do it in a very kind way, For instance, if you're at work and you're wondering how to put boundaries around work, then, just think of like, what if you had a child at home, an infant at home? Would you be working so many hours? Would you instead say, hey, I have to leave by 5:30, and just assume people will understand and you can be kind about it, right? Not check your emails in the evenings. And it's hard. It's hard when you're a people pleaser. And we've been accustomed to a work culture that has become toxic, okay? So I'm going to spell it out for you. So that's just work, but there's also other ways that we as women get emotionally strung along in different relationships, okay? Your parents don't need you to caretake for them. Your siblings don't need you to caretake for them. In fact, what I found is that the more of this kind of caretaking you do for others, the more that you enable old unconscious patterns to continue and you get sucked into it. So just, of course, if your parent is sick and you need to take care of them, that's great. I'm not saying caretaking isn't important. Absolutely. Everyone in this life has to take care of other people at some point. But just notice if it's a pattern. Like if you've always been doing that since you were a child, you've always been the shoulder that your friends lean on, your parents, you've got to break out of that. Okay? Because otherwise you're never going to flourish. And as a soul, your soul needs to flourish. Otherwise you're going to start feeling depressed. Okay? So that's step number one, or tool number one, is setting healthy boundaries. And I'm sure there's resources out there on how to set boundaries. And also if you're an empath, there's resources out there on how to navigate relationships as an empath. My book, The 90-Day Soulmate Plan, helps you prepare for that. I talk about boundary setting in there and how to communicate effectively to set those boundaries. Okay. So that's one way of protecting your energy field. Okay. The next tool is one that I love. It's a Hawaiian prayer called Ho'oponopono. Okay, I think it's like Ho'oponopono. And in short, it means I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, please forgive me. So what I've seen is that a lot of times we have unresolved issues with people, karmic issues. We have judgments about ourselves and other people, and it's because of our judgments and our, lack of compassion for others, lack of forgiveness for ourselves and others, that we tend to stay stuck in patterns. And these patterns are of guilt, shame, anger, sadness, all the lower state emotions. So you have to figure out for yourself, are these, karmic relationships that you need to, heal from, resolve? And are you ready to let them go? Let go of relationships that aren't, or in the current format that they're in, right? If you do have some anger and resentment towards someone, if there's someone at work that's toxic, or you're mad at your partner for some reason, then a tool that has been great at clearing up energetic debris is Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, please forgive me. And this is a prayer that you can use silently throughout the day. So let's say you're noticing that you're triggered by someone on Facebook, or a friend, or you said something hurtful to a friend and you want to clean it up, then first think, or a boss who's not nice to you and you're getting frustrated about it. There's probably some unresolved issue there. So Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, just practicing that a lot will slowly start to untangle you from that relationship, that unhealthy relationship that you have. Okay. There's a story about a psychologist in Hawaii, called Dr. Len Hugh, and basically he was given a psychiatric ward, and instead of going and treating each of the patients every day, he would just pull out each of their files and practice Ho'oponopono on them. And just noticing his own judgments arising for each person. And over time, many of those patients in that psychiatric ward got healed on their own. So he got to really see that we create our own reality, and our judgments are what create the patterns around us. So the more you can take stock of it, and the more you could clean up your side of it, your lack of compassion, your lack of love, your lack of forgiveness, all of that, the more the world around you gets cleaned up, and there's a healing that takes place, and that's the path of miracles. You'll start to see miracles begin to flow to you. Okay. You can also do cord cutting and other things to release cords that are draining you of energy. Okay. And again, I've shared tools like that on my YouTube and also in my book. The third way to uplift your vibration is through self-love. Okay, so many of us have a feeling of inadequacy, low self-worth, low self-esteem, and insecurity about ourselves, about our abilities, and things like that. And so that brings down our vibration. We have beliefs, we have thoughts and emotions that all tie into low self-worth. And maybe on the outside you're confident, but inside you struggle with insecurity, okay, and self-doubt. And when you're in that state, you don't see miracles flowing into your life, okay, because the world is your reflection, and the world reflects back to you what your subconscious beliefs are. So if you're feeling like you're not magnetizing, men or your partner to be more affectionate with you, or compliments at work, and other magical synchronicities, then that means that you need to fill your own cup with self-love, and specifically the tools of self-empathy and self-compassion. So studies have shown that self-compassion is the only way to actually improve your self-confidence. Okay, not doing a million outer things like achieving your goals, and for me, creating YouTube videos, etc. Those are outer activities, but rather the real inner work around self-love, self-compassion, self-empathy, where you're kind of being that best friend to yourself, the inner mother, the inner father. You're healing your inner child. You're offering yourself empathy, which means like feeling and validating your emotions and your needs, and almost just parenting yourself, being your own lover. And I give tools for doing all of that in my book. Then you will see that you're going to elevate your vibration. So there's the scale called the Hawkins scale of consciousness, and you're going to find that your scale of consciousness you're going to increase your vibration on that scale from fear and desire and grief and stuckness and all of that, and you're going to slowly go up the scale. You know, you're going to go to courage and reason, and then finally love. And then that's when you start hitting joy and serenity and enlightenment and things like that. Okay, enlightenment. So first you need to really look at your emotional landscape, take care of it, you know, use these tools to reparent yourself, love yourself. And it doesn't have to be hard. They can just be practices that you do. You'll see almost immediate results when you start practicing these things. Like, the world is your mirror, okay? And it's not that hard to, especially in this day and age where so many of our emotions are coming up, our shadows are coming up, and there's so much love pouring in. Like, I've never seen so much love pouring in. Like, the minute that I choose to raise my vibration and love myself, I start to see miracles in my life. You know, that's how loving the universe is. That's what I believe. That's how loving God is, you know. And our partners can, like, we don't have to, sure, we can share what we want with our partners, and that's the next step, you know. But first, it's an inside job in doing your part in raising your vibration and your magnetism, okay? And then that's when I say you become a love magnet. So I hope that these 3 tools were helpful to you: setting boundaries, practicing Ho'oponopono, and practicing self-love, specifically self-compassion, self-empathy. These 3 tools will begin to immediately start to shift your energy field, and you'll start to see miracles and love flowing into your life. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.